How are you doing, YouTube? It's your friendly gamer SmartEntity here. You've asked for it, now it's here. My complete tradings guide 2015 January edition. For my loyal subscribers as well as regular viewers, I need no introduction with this. You all know trading is my cup of tea. But for those of you that are new to my channel, first of all, welcome, and secondly, what gives me the credibility to give you guys hints and tips about trading? Well, I'll show you guys one number, and that is this number. Yes, I have made over 66,000 platinum from trading alone. Alrighty, let's get right into it. Now, we'll talk about mods first because they by far dominate the trading market, and we'll talk about the rank 10s. So we'll begin with the common mods. So we got Vitality, Redirection, and Steel Fiber. Now, these are the rank 10s that are by far the most popular, with Redirection and Vitality being more popular, but not so much worth more. So these days, as far as January 2015 goes, these mods are worth 100 to 150 platinum each. There are obviously other mods such as your Sentinel, Vitality, and Redirection. Those are very undesirable because people usually don't worry that much about Sentinels, especially when we got Kubros now. These are just not that popular. But having said that, do not let people trick you. They are still worth 100 to 150 plat each. As far as your uncommon mods, so that's your Serration and Hornet Strike. Now these mods go around 200 platinum. I definitely wouldn't recommend selling at less than 200, and I wouldn't really buy more than 200. 200 is pretty much the norm with very little standard deviation around that. And then we get into the big money ones. So your rank 10 rares. Now obviously most of them are corrupt mods, so we got Narrow-Minded, Blind Rage, Heavy Caliber, Magnum Force, and the most recent addition is Transient Fortitude. Out of these ones, Magnum Force is not that desirable by people, so that one usually go around 400 plat max, usually 350 to 400. Now as far as the rest of these ones, every single one of these mods, generally you're looking at 400 to 500 platinum. If you are buying, buy at 400. If you're selling, sell at 500. If someone's trying to sell it to you at 500, don't buy it off someone else, because there are people still selling at 400. It's rare, but it does happen. And finally, we'll tackle the real big guns, and that is, of course, our legendaries. Now, recently I've actually sold my primed continuity, but I should still have a few other ones. So we'll put in rarity. So these are the legendary mods. Now, when these guys first came out, I bought one mod each because they were actually costing a lot of ducats as well as credits. But then as time goes by and the initial mods become more and more rare, I've actually realized people are really desiring them. Some people actually buy them. Well, I sold my prime continuity unranked for 100 plat. So that puts some perspective into you. And to be honest, as far as these mods goes, they're actually a huge variation. As far as prime flow, I've seen it selling at 100 plat, I've seen it selling at 40 plat. So at this stage, I definitely do not recommend you buying a unranked prime mod of anybody, just because it will cost you 1 million credit regardless of the rank. But if you are selling, again, it depends. If you know you're gonna make some money out of it, you might have bought several. If you have several, then it's perfectly fine to sell it anywhere from 50 to 100 plat each. If you only have one copy, I personally would not sell it at less than 100 platinum. So that's the base mods, unranked mods. Once you do max them, the market price goes around 600 platinum. Now, I know what you guys are going to say. 600 seems a bit low. The reason is basically in the market, these days there's very few max rank prime mods in Warframe. And even fewer being sold or being on the trade market. So when you got one person who's advertising selling a prime continuity for 860 plat or whatever it is, he's always their listing. So he seems to be dominating the trade market. But in no way does a maxed legendary mod worth that much. In fact, I'm going to do a quick modding tutorial to show you guys what it is. So I got prime flow over here. Let's try to fuse this mod. So we're going to use rare fusion cores to make this easier. So it takes 528 rare fusions to max a prime flow. And we're looking at 1.663 million credits, right? Now, so this was 528. Let's just cancel that because I definitely do not want to spend that much credit. And we'll find another rank 10 mod that is base. Hopefully I've got one here. I think I got one with Tainted Shell or Tainted Magazine, one of those ones. or use Hyperion thrusters. So this is a rank 10 rare mod, right? And we'll again try to fuse this. So you only require 396 mods. Now, if you think about, these mods go for 400 plat. If we need to use 130-ish more cores, there's no reason for the price to double from 400 to 800. So anyone who's trying to sell you a primed mod maxed for 800 plus plat is ripping you off hard. I do not even recommend just replying to them. When someone does that to me, I actually put them on my ignore list. Now, this is going to put a bit of controversy on there. I don't want anyone to make any enemies, don't get me wrong, but I'm just trying to emphasize the magnitude of how much people are trying to rip you off. So again, prime mods, 600-ish. With these rare ones, 400-ish. If you use a principle where one rare 5 fusion mod equates to 1 plat, that gives you a good rule of thumb. Now, the reason the prime mod would cost a bit more is, again, because they are using a lot of credits. Credit is actually a rarity in this game, believe it or not. But at the same time, you gotta remember, when you're trading a prime mod, it's costing you 1 million credits, so you gotta take that into consideration as well. So again, to sum up, for these prime mods at unranked, if you got a lot, you can sell at 50 plat. If you got 1 copy, especially if it's something good like prime flow or continuity, sell at 100 plat. If it's maxed, I would say pay around 600 plat. Plus minus 50 plat is reasonable and it's fine for negotiation, but definitely not, nowhere near 800 plat. That's just rubbish, right? Don't get there. And before we leave the max rank mods or the prime mods, I want to show you guys a quick tutorial as far as modding goes. Now, this is pretty obvious to some of the veteran players, but apparently a lot of people have been asking me for it, and I sort of do a quick demo here. So we all seen that for a maxed prime flow, we require 528 cores. But how many cores do we need for a rank 9 prime flow? Now, it's actually half of that. So 525 divided by 2, we're looking at, I think it's 264, so try that. Yeah, so you need exactly half the amount of mods to go to a rank 9. And you need half the amount of mods to go to rank 9 to go to rank 8. So let's just cancel that. So that was 264, half of that 132, and that'll bring you to rank 8. Right, so what that basically means is if we're spending 600 plat on a maxed prime flow, we should be spending around 300 plat for a rank 9. Now, that is as far as I would recommend going. There's no point buying a ranked 8 mod because they've only put in 25% of the work in, and usually you have to put in 75% of the work in, and it just defeats the whole purpose. And I know one of you at least will be thinking, well, by that principle, rank 0 should be worth 0, almost. Look, don't ask me. That's not how it works. That's not how trade works. This is how trade works. Believe it or not, that's what it is. I'm just reporting my findings. But basically what it comes down to is when you go to a base mod, you go through the effort of obtaining it, and the price is for obtaining it. But once you reach your sort of max rank 9, rank 10, the price is for modding it, and that's how it works basically. Okay, next we'll talk about the CRUD mods. Now I want to talk about this first because there has been a lot of change with pricings on these mods. Because a while back we had a group of new CRUD mods being released into the vote, and as a result, some of the older ones have increased in price dramatically. So let's talk about the good ones. So we're going to talk about unranked mods, right? So these prices I'm going to list are all for unranked. For Blind Rage, Fleeting Expertise, Narrow-Minded, Overextended, and Heavy Caliber, these would be considered by most high-level players to be essential mods, especially if you have an arsenal of Warframes. And all of them have decreased in drop chance significantly, and these days in the market, they are worth 30 plat each unranked. Now, Transient Fortitude is quite a useful mod, but this was actually a recently released mod, and as a result, the drop chance is actually quite high, and it goes to around 10 to 20 plat in the trade market. Now, Critical Chance is a mod that is not that great, but some people really like this, especially on the weapons such as the Amprex. I don't, but some people do, and it is still desired by quite a few guys, so generally looking at around, again, 20 to 30 plat. Vault Precision is pretty hopeless, and it's about 10 plat, 10 a mag, 10 plat, tin plat. Well, acceleration. Now this is one of the newer mods that got released, but it's really good, especially on the new top tier weapon, the Opti-Core, and as a result we are looking at about 10 to 15 plat for this one. Burden magazine, 10 plat, pretty useless, but for collectors they will pay for it. Vicious spread. Now vicious spread is an old mod that is very good on shotguns. It does add to base damage, but it's only worth 20 to 30 plat, not as much as something like heavy caliber because shotguns aren't as desirable. Tainted mag, again we're looking about 10 to 15 plat. From momentum, about 10 plat. Critical deceleration, 10 plat. Anemic agility. Now this is a newer mod. It is quite common, but it is really useful, especially on the new top tier weapons, the Cyno Gamma Core. So again, you're looking at about 10 to 15 plat critical chance. That is creeping bullseye, which help with critical chance of pistols. That one about 10 plat. Hollow point, 10 to 20 plat. Magnum force, 20 to 30 plat. Tainted clip, 10 plat. Spoil strike, 20 plat. Crop charge, around 10 to 20 plat, 15 plat on average. Next up, we'll talk about Operation Breeding Grounds mod. So that is your thermite rounds for rifles, your Scorch for pistols, your Scattering Inferno for shotguns, and your Volcanic Edge for melee. At max rank, they provide 60% extra fire damage, as well as 60% status chance. Now, these I would say are by far the rarest event mods. They are the oldest that's been exclusive to that event, and as a result, they are worth the most. Now, I'm trying to find pictures of them, which I can't, and I can't be bothered going through my arsenal to look for them. But trust me, that's what they're called, and that's what they do. So as far as thermite rank goes, that one definitely goes for 150 plat, no doubt about that. Scorch, you're looking at about 100 plat. Scattering Inferno, around 100 plat. And Volcanic Edge, you're looking at about 100 plat. So 150 plus 100 plus 100 plus 100 is 450. But if you are buying it in a set, most people will sell it at 500 plat because they're giving you a set. So 50 plat for the set, basically. The next round of operations is, of course, the Cryotic Front. So again, hopefully we got a picture here, but probably not. So Operation Cryotic Front, so that is your dual ice and status chance. So we have your rim rounds for rifles, we have Frostbite for pistols, we've got Frigid Blast for shotgun, and we have Vicious Frost for melee. Now, this is not as old as Breeding Grounds, so as a result they're not worth as much. So generally you're looking at surprisingly the same price for most of the mods. So 150 for rim rounds, your Frostbite is 100, Vicious Frost is 100, your Frigid Blast is 50. So overall the set for this particular occasion does actually go around that price. So 150 plus 100 plus 100 plus 50 is 400, and that's usually what the set goes for. If you're lucky, you might actually get it anywhere from 300 to 400 plat, but definitely no more than 400 plat. Tetra Doom. Now, Tetra Doom is a very interesting event. Now, this event actually happened before Breeding Grounds, but recently, I believe it's called the Mutilus Incursion Operation. We were actually reintroduced to these mods, and now the price of these mods are just all over the place. I've been seeing all sorts of numbers. I think the main reason is because they were fairly recent in that we had another opportunity to get them, but because of that, they're actually still exclusive and no longer available in the game. And most people don't actually know if they will come back. So prices have been cheap, have been expensive, depending on, you know, if you're trying to sell or buy. But as a general guideline, so again, we got your high voltage for rifle. We have, trying to think on top of my head, we have Jolt for pistol. We have, what's the other one? Voltaic Strike for melee, and we have the one for shotgun, which I cannot remember. Shell Shock. Yeah, Shell Shock for shotgun. Oh, got there. Okay, so as far as prices go, now people usually try to sell them by the set, and people try to buy them as a set. And the set actually these days go around anywhere from 200 to 500 plat. You probably won't find the 200 numbers too often these days. I saw a couple a few days ago, but to be honest, you're probably more looking at about the 350 to 500 plat range. As far as individual mods go, I would say you're probably looking at about 100 plat each for the shotgun, pistol, and melee, and with high voltage, you're looking at anywhere from 100 to 200. Now, the prices again are very, vary, there's a large standard deviation, just because, depending on who you talk to and what their opinion is, some people may think they're exclusive and will never be released again, so sell it very high. Other people will think, well, they were actually just available, a little while ago, so they shouldn't be worth that much. So it just depends. My recommendation is, if you got a set, just keep it. Don't sell it, because let's face it, none of us know if it's going to come back or when it's going to come back. And if you don't have a set, I wouldn't make it a priority, because there are a lot of mods that can replace them. But if you see it cheap, get them, because again, we don't know if and when they'll come back. After Operation Crowded Front, we were introduced to Operation Gatecrash. Now this event released a series of slash damage mods. Now at max rank, which is rank 5, each of these mods gave a 120% increase in extra slash damage for that weapon. So it's a bit more than your standard 90%, but because it only benefits the slash, you really have to work out, which weapon this benefits for. For example, in the Dread, the slash damage would 120 slash extra damage would benefit over something like a 90% extra damage, whereas for something like the Paris Prime, it wouldn't. So you have to do a better calculation. Now these mods have been giving me a lot of headache, because man, I've just lost a huge opportunity with these mods. So during the event, I actually bought quite a few of these mods at a fairly low price, and then a few weeks after the event, I actually sold most of these mods. Now I bought quite a few Buzzkill mods initially at quite a low price, and a few weeks after the event, I sold all my Buzzkills. I think I had about 11, 12 or 13 Buzzkills, and I sold them all around 60 plat each. Now that, to me, I thought was okay, but we all know these days, Buzzkill and all the kind of mods, well, Buzzkill really, is worth 200 plus plat, right? People are buying Buzzkill by itself for 200 to 250 plat easy. And knowing that I've sold it at 60 plat a few weeks ago has been giving me a few sleepless nights, but that's trading for you, and that's the way it goes. So we have Buzzkill for your melee, we have Fan Fusillade for your rifle, we have, I'll see if I can find them easy. If I can't find them easy, we won't bother. So Sweeping Serration for your shotgun, and finally we got one for pistol as well, if I could find it. These mods aren't that popular, so I can't really remember the name of them. I haven't really been trading or dealing with them much. And here we go, so Maim for your pistol. So again, Buzzkill these days are worth about 200 to 250 plat by itself. As far as the other mods, you're looking at anywhere from 50 to 100 plat, with the shotgun and the pistol probably worth about 50 plat, and the rifle, the Fan Fusillade, worth about 100 plat. And the set, now the set goes around 300 to 400 plat. I know it doesn't add up, the numbers doesn't add up, but that's what I see on Trade Market, and that's how it goes. I think most of the time people buy the set for Buzzkill, and because the other mods were so cheap anyway, they just buy it. But generally with this, Buzzkill is a champion, the rest of the guys, so think of it this way, Buzzkill is a champion, Fan Fusillade is the cheerleader, and Maim and Sweeping Serration are basically the spectators. Think of it that way, and it'll make more sense to you. Alrighty, so a more recent event is the Mutalist Incursion. Oh, how nice. Oh, Mutalist. Let's see if we can get a hit on here. So Operation Mutalist Incursion. Now during this event, of course, we were introduced to Infested LV, the Mesa. Wait, were we? No, we weren't. Ignore that. So we were introduced to the puncture mods. I'm getting way too carried away. So anyway, so during this event, we were introduced to the puncture mods, and like the slash mods at max rank, each of them gave 120% puncture damage. So we have Piercing Caliber for rifle, Breech Loader for shotgun, Bore for pistol, and Ogre Strike for melee. Now this event was extremely recent. I wonder if we got a date on here. Yeah, so December, so November to December, so literally about 1.5 months ago, as far as making out this video goes. So these mods aren't really worth that much. But I think what it comes down to is, one, people are starting to realize event mods are gonna be exclusive for a while and they shouldn't be selling them, and two, people that have missed the event knows that these mods are worth something and are quite desirable. So unlike some of the other mods that were quite cheap during the event, these mods have pretty much been stable in price, and as far as these mods go, you're looking at about 300 plat for the set. Now, as far as individual mods go, people usually don't sell them or buy them at individual mods because there's no point, right? You want the whole set. So the set is about 300 plat, but if you are looking at each one, you can try to divide it by 300, so you're looking at about 75 to 80 plat each, or 100 plat each is quite normal. Now, Piercing Caliber definitely go for 100 plat each. The other ones, yeah, a bit lower, so generally 300 plat for the set. Now, the most recent event is, of course, the Archwing event, which is the Ice of Blight event. Now, I really don't want to say too much of the price of these mods because I just don't see them in trading. No one really buys them, no one really sells them. But what I can tell you is, I have been buying a lot of these mods at 25 plat each. So we had Magma Chamber and Searing Steel. So at max rank, they give you 60% extra heat damage as well as 60% status chance, not unlike the Breeding Ground mods. So yeah, so a while back during the event, I was buying these mods at 25 plat each. I had some people offering it, not a lot. So that gives you an idea of the price that I basically deemed them to be. But other than that, no one really buys them, no one really sells them. It's just too early to say. Give it time. Probably during a massive Archwing release, these mods will become a lot more popular because let me tell you, these mods are freaking awesome. Right now in Archwing, there really aren't that many mods. In fact, we'll go to Warframe. Hopefully, it'll respond. It's actually quite important for you guys to realize this, and I will show you guys this here. So right now, for Warframe Archwing, there aren't a lot of mods. We got, as usual, 4 elementals, a base damage mod, a speed mod, a crit mod, and a crit damage mod somewhere. Right? So if you think about it, in fact, I'll put a max rank weapon on here. So Raceburn, I've completely maxed this weapon. So Raceburn has 15% crit chance, so I put in a crit build, so you got base damage, crit chance, crit damage, 4 elementals, and the speed mod. Now, because we got this event mod, we can chuck out one of these mods and put in the event mod. But what if we don't have a crit weapon? What if we have a weapon that has a crit chance of 5%, like the Veritax? Then there's no point having Temper Blade or Bleeding Edge. It's just waste of space. In which case, of course, you can put your Fuhrer in there for speed. But if you don't have Searing Steel, you're pretty much forced to put your crit damage mod in there because there's no other mods, right? So if we have Searing Steel, we can replace Bleeding Edge with that, and if a next event comes up with, say, an Electricity, Ice, or Fire, Electricity, Ice, or Poison, we can replace Temper Blade and put in that mod there. So these mods are actually extremely good because unlike your normal Warframe gameplay, we do not have that many mods for Archwing. So this is obviously melee, but the same story goes for range as well. And finally, let's talk about some of the other commonly desirable mods in trade. So first of all, we'll talk about the stances. Now, stances is something that really surprised me as far as pricing goes. So whenever a new weapon gets released, DE tends to release a new stance for that weapon because they know they're going to make a lot of plat sales on it. So I'm not going to talk too much about that because the price of those mods decrease literally within a few days. But when a new stance gets released, especially if it's hard to get, people easily pay 50 to 100 plat on it for whatever reason. Now, currently the rarest or the most desirable or the most expensive stance in the game is High Noon. That one still goes for around 50 plat. It's for the Redeemer. It's dropped by the new Broodmother enemy, I believe. And that still surprises me, but it's what people are offering, it's what people are selling at, so that's what it is. Now, next to High Noon, we have Crimson Dervish and Gleaming Talon as the two, I guess, fairly old but still very desirable and rare stances in the game, and these two are worth a solid 20 plat each. As far as the rest, you got Tranquil Clave, Bleeding Willow, and Flailing Branch. These three are probably the next tier of popular mods, and you're looking at about 10 to 20 plat for each of them, with Tranquil Clave being more close to 20 plat just because Flailing Branch and Bleeding Willow drop in the Void and I know a lot of people, myself included, play a lot of Void because they're considered in-game, so they're a bit more abundant in Warframe, I kind of feel. Now, as far as the other mods go, I'm not gonna, say the price of each one because they vary depending on people by quite a bit. But as a soft rule of thumb, you're looking at about 10 to 20 plat for a rare and a solid 10 plat for a uncommon. So that's your stances. Next, let's talk about Nightmare mods. So Nightmare mods, we basically have Constitution and Lethal Torrent as your most desirable Nightmare mods. Surprisingly, Hammershot and Blaze, despite once upon a time being the rarest and most desirable and goddamn expensive mods, they are no longer that expensive just because we've had quite a few Nightmare alerts for them. So Constitution, Lethal Torrent, Blaze, Hammershot, these 4 mods, they are all worth about 10 plat each, and of course all these prices I am talking about unranked because there's no point paying more plat for a rank 3 or rank 5, right? Now, some of the other mods like Wildfire, Stunning Speed, all that kind of stuff, they're pretty hopeless. I wouldn't worry too much about them. People usually don't buy or sell them. Fortitude, Vega actually comes here and there around 10 plat, but most of the other ones, they are really not that desirable, and if you do find someone wanting them or selling them, 5 to 10 plat would be a good price to go by. And as far as mods in general, because I think we've pretty much talked about everything else, as far as mods in general, with things like rare mods, so rare mods up to rank 5, so things like Intensify, Flow, Continuity, these pretty basic mods, you're looking at about 10 plat for unranked, and you're looking at about 20 to 30 plat for maxed. Now, again, I do not recommend buying these mods at maxed. I do not even recommend buying these mods because they are really not worth anything. But people will ask you for at least 5 to 10 plat because otherwise they wouldn't waste a trade with you. So at unranked, yeah, 5 to 10 plat, and then at maxed, you're looking at about 20 to 30 or even 40 plat sometimes. But these are more sort of kind of everyday mods. And the last group of mods I want to talk about is the auras, or actually 2 more groups to talk about. So auras, so let's see if we can get to, I probably won't be able to show just aura, but that's things like your corrosive projection, your energy siphon, that kind of stuff. And on that note, corrosive projection, energy siphon, rejuvenation, these 3 are by far the most popular aura desired by the community, but as a rule of thumb, all auras at base are about 10 plat each. Maxed, depending on what it is, if it's a rank 3 or a rank 5 at max, some of the rank 5s like energy siphons, they're actually worth 40 plat. Yes, I know it costs nothing to max a uncommon mod, but that's the price it goes by. And as far as your sort of rank 3, so things like Dead Eyes, they're pretty much worth 10 plat ranked or unranked because they're just pretty useless. And the reason we can't see them is because we're in weapons and not in Warframe. So here we go, yeah, so energy siphon at max, it could even go up to 40 plat, but 20 to 40 plat would be quite normal. For unranked, you're looking at about 10 plat, and that's pretty much the same price with all other auras. Now the last group of mods I want to talk about is for Archwing. Now the reason I want to point out Archwing is because Archwing mods are completely separate to your normal Warframe mods in that you can only get Archwing mods from Archwing missions.
It will be marked on navigation.
And of course, it's been quite a few weeks now. Archwing mods have decreased in price dramatically because, well, it's much easier to get them now. So as a rule of thumb, generally a rare mod you're looking at about 20 plat each. For a uncommon mod, you're pretty much looking at a 10 plat each. And for common mods, you're pretty looking at 5 plat each if anyone ever wants them. And again, of course, I'm talking about unranked prices. Some mods that I would recommend you buying, or I would recommend you selling at a higher price, are things like dual rounds. This mod is fairly difficult to get. Another one is the Archwing Health, which is enhanced durability. This mod is pretty difficult to get. I don't know why that is, but for this uncommon mod, it's almost impossible to get. At least during my gameplay, I got these 2 from interception rewards. I have never had this mod drop on an enemy. It's extremely rare. I don't know why, but it just is.
This is what we offer.
Well, they took a long time, but stay tuned. We still got a lot more good stuff to share with you. So next, let's talk about Syndicate. Now, Syndicate weapons have decreased in price dramatically. I remember in day 1, day 2 of these weapons being released. Well, day 1, day 2 of these weapons being released, and when you were allowed to trade for them, people were literally paying 200 to 300 plat each for them. I bought 4 of my initial Syndicate weapons from the other Syndicates that I'm not aligned with for 100 plat each. These days, if you're buying, buy at 40 plat each. If you're selling, sell it at 80 plat each. As far as the Syndicate mods go, they're worth 25 plat each. Done. If you think about 1000 standing as worth 1 plat, that pretty much gives you a pretty soft guideline. Yes, I know Syndicate weapons are not by that scale ratio, but that's what it is. But to be honest, I definitely recommend trading for these mods as opposed to buying them, because they're not really, that costly as far as standing goes. And if you're gonna buy Syndicate mods, you're gonna spend a lot of platinum. And lastly, let's talk about the primes. Now, primes have been a very interesting topic in that there is a lot of opportunity for them because a lot of people desire them, but unless they are the new package from the most recent Prime Access, they are worth very little. So let's talk about the new stuff first. So we got Vasto, Soma, Nova. Now, Nova BP, you're looking at 50 plat. Nova Chassis, you're looking at about 100 plat. Nova Systems, you're looking at about 50 plat. Nova Helm, you're looking at about 100 plat. Soma Blueprint, you're looking at about 10 to 20 plat. Soma Barrel, Soma Receiver, you're looking at about 50 plat each. Soma Stock, you're looking at 100 plat. Now, these are the prices as of today. As far as the Vasto goes, Vasto is a... Okay, let's put it this way. First there was Vasto, then there was Dual Vasto, now there's Vasto Prime. Guess what's gonna be next? Right? So for that reason, Vasto isn't really that strong a weapon because of the potential for a Vasto Prime to come out. So I don't think a lot of people are desiring it right now, and given that people know there is going to be a stronger version of it, the price is pretty low, and to be honest, it's a fun weapon to use, but it's just not top tier at this stage. I've used it, I've ranked mine to level 30, I haven't put in a potato because why would I do that when I can, when I will put that into the Vasto formula. So as far as Vasto, you can pretty much buy the parts at 10 to 20 plat each. Okay, so now let's talk about everything else. Now, as far as from the old update goes, the bow handle, which I don't have any remaining, you can sell it at anywhere from 30 to 40 plat each. That is probably the most expensive item from the old Prime Access. Another one worth noting is the Nyx Prime BP. Nyx Prime BP is still worth around 20 to 30 plat, depending on who you talk to. And as far as the other stuff goes, I mean, again, it varies because if you got a set of Nyx Prime or a set of Loki Prime, they're pretty much worth 100 plat each set. But if you don't have the set and you're just selling individual Loki parts and whatnot, you're pretty much looking at 10 to 20 plat each. And pretty much the same story goes for Nyx. And another product that is worth quite a bit from a very old Prime Access is a Border Prime BP. Border Prime BP is still worth around 20 plat. And also Sinnoh Prime Blade. Now Sinnoh Prime Blade is worth around 50 plat. That is a very rare component. And I don't think I've missed anything else. Yeah, I don't think I've missed anything else. Basically, everything that I have not mentioned is worth about 5 to 10 plat each part, right? I'm not talking about sets, so each part, so legs, Paris, Rhino, Mag, Frost parts, each part or BP is worth about 5 to 10 plat each. Alrighty, whew, that took a very long time, so just trying to think on top of my head what else we can trade. So of course there are tower keys and all sorts of other keys. Now T4 keys just recently got removed from syndicates, so they're no longer available. Despite it still being said in the benefit and consequences table, T4 keys have been released, and I mean prices back in the days they were worth about 1 to 2 plat each. Obviously now that they're released, they're removed, they are going to be worth a bit more, but I would imagine that price will increase as time goes by, because let's face it, no one likes to play an interception mission to farm for those keys. But having said that, the devs do plan to return those keys at a much higher standing price, so we'll have to wait and see for that. Excuse me, Alert V keys were worth a lot, almost 40 plat when they first got released. Now they're worth pretty much zipper because no one really cares for them. Kubro imprints, I guess. I mean, back in the days, people were paying, over 100 plat for a Lotus Kubro imprint. Why? I have absolutely no idea. These days, I don't think anyone is dumb enough to do that. I know that was really rude, but I'm sorry. I just do not understand why anyone would pay 100 plat for a Lotus Kubro imprint. So, to be a bit nicer, these days, no one does that. So, yeah. What else can we trade? I think that's about it. Yeah, no, I think that's all about trading I want to say. Now, before I leave, I want to just mention quickly warframetrading.com.net or whatever it is. Now, I do not want to say anything bad about that website, because whoever or whichever team that put it in place, I think they've done a really good job giving the community guidelines and whatnot. But for you guys, I want to tell you, do not follow it like it's written in stone. To give you guys an example, a few days ago, someone was trying to buy Vicious Frost. Now, I don't know if they're lying or not, and frankly, I couldn't be bothered checking, but I was basically messaging them and telling them I was going to sell it for 100 plat. And the message I got back was, Warframe Trader said it's 50 plat maxed. Now, I pretty much left it at that. I didn't really say anything else, but, for any of you that are watching right now and do a bit of trading yourself, you would know 50 plat for a maxed Vicious Frost is rubbish. No one is dumb enough to sell it at that price. So what I'm trying to say is, Warframe Trader is great as far as a guideline when you have absolutely no idea what the hell is going on, but don't follow it like it's law. Another example is, I think when the Arcane Helmet first got removed, it was the, I think, Vanguard Rhino Helm. Warframe Trader was, well, someone was saying in chat that Warframe Trader was labeling it to be worth 1,000 platinum. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me right now? So yeah, that's just an example. So again, I'm not saying anything bad about the website, because I know it's unprofessional to say bad about anyone else. I'm just trying to warn you guys that don't follow it like it's written in stone. Always use your judgment, and to be honest, the same could be said about my channel and what I'm giving you now. What I'm saying is just prices I've experienced. I don't make prices, you guys don't make prices, Warframe Trader don't make prices. It's the community as a whole, the demand supply that creates these prices. I'm just sharing you with my experience. So that aside, I have spent a lot of time in trading, and I really do hope this video will help you guys out. I spent a lot of time constructing this, and other than that, leave in the comments if you got any questions, anything that I haven't covered, and let me know some of the good deals you guys have made. I'm always interested in what deals people make, because that gives me an idea. It helps me learn what prices are like, and it helps me to sort of forward prices to other people as well. Alright guys, that's pretty much it. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Cheers.